Hello and welcome to the United Stand. First of all, I just want to make a few apologies because I know, like me, this news probably isn't that important to you. Some of you will have already figured it out, some of you will know, and some of you won't really care. However, in light of what's been going on Twitter today, the one thing we do not do on the United Stand is run away from lies and stories. We stand up to them. We don't disappear for a couple of weeks when we've tried to mug fans off with Partner Fan. We don't disappear when we've set up fake agent accounts to mug Manchester United fans off. When people throw lies at me or anybody involved in the United Stand, then we'll meet them head on, because ultimately all we're interested in is building this independent Manchester United fan community, and people will try and knock it. People will try and knock it, but we will stand up to it. When people tell lies, I've been brought up to hit it head on and not disappear and hide. And it's sad. It's sad that the person who's basically, yet again, trying to build all these lies is the same person who has been ridiculed themselves in the past. But they'll keep biting and they'll keep biting. And the interesting thing about that for me really is that to what end is it really all about? What end is it really all about? Because the reality is, when somebody starts delving into my private life, then that's when the line is crossed. I think this is a Manchester United football fan channel. It's not about me. It's never been about me. And when people start looking into my private life and putting information out there, you've got to ask, what are these people all about? And to be honest, I'm not going to name the person's name because I think we can all figure out who it is. But they fed this information to numerous other accounts today, especially on Twitter, and had it fed around. And I've been told by numerous of those accounts where it's come from. So the coward hasn't even got the balls to one, approach me about it, and two, even say about it, because he's too interested, because the own channel that he's working on, the corporate channel he's working on, is starting to fail. So he's now trying to set his own one up. But the bloke is just 100% an absolute joke. A joke. He's tried to mug United fans off before, selling them Ugg boots and not giving them, getting them to come and sing songs with him in the pub. And I'm not happy about this at all. I'm not happy about it at all. This is private information. He has a family and stuff like that, and he didn't like it when he was getting a load of stick. To go and start giving it out about other people, that's when a line is crossed. Right, let's get down to the point, because I've had people tweeting me about it all day. Oh, is this your name? Is this your name? Oh, is this what you did for a job? Ooh, it's a Manchester United fan channel. Who absolutely, if you care about it, we're going to talk about it now, and I'll take some of your questions about it. But to be honest, I find it quite embarrassing that I'm having to come on and do this, because it's been the Forest fan stuff. And now it's this. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. How many hours have we put into this? How many hours have I spoken in depth about Manchester United that people still think they can rock something that's really pure and good with crap, to be honest with you? Okay, so let's jump into it. And I really hope some of those people who've been, trying to goad me today are listening, because this is your opportunity. Come on, Skype Goldbridge, ask me out loud. Ask me outright about it, because I'm fine about it. Right, let's get straight into it. The name Mark Goldbridge, for those shock horror, is not my name. It's never been my name. Most of you will probably figure that out, because if you type Mark Goldbridge into Google, nobody exists of that name. It is the most obvious made-up name out there. And actually, you can do public checks on me and find out what my real name is. Now, why have I done that? Now, I'll be totally honest with you. When I started the United Stand, or Soccer Box as it was, I was working in a job, which again, people are tweeting it out, so it's all out there on social media. If you think it's right that people are tweeting stuff out about what I've done for a living and things like that, which, to be honest, was a professional job, and I do not want to discuss it with anybody, but if you think it's right that people are delving that deep, they're checking Facebook profiles of my family and stuff like that, if you think you want to go and watch that person's content and follow those people on Twitter, then, you're, I'm not going to say you're as bad as them, but I just think it's absolutely disgusting, to be honest. But, so, Mark Goldbridge, why would I not use my real name? Well, there's a number of reasons for that. When I started it, I was in a professional job, where it would be totally and utterly out of order and wrong and jeopardy, and basically put my job in jeopardy to use my real name. So that's why when it started off, that was like that. 18 months ago, I left that job, and I had a decision to make as to whether I just, start using my real name or I continue with Mark Goldbridge. And to be totally honest with you, I will be honest with you, because I always am. I'm not in for self-gratification. I'm not Adam McCullough. I'm not Stephen Howson. I'm not Robbie off Arsenal Fan TV. I'm not everybody else on YouTube who uses their real name. And I'm not digging them people out for that. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. You get a lot of abuse on social media. You know, if you ever want to go and have a look, just type Goldbridge onto Twitter and see the nonce, the wanker that I'd love to smash your head in. That it's just because I give my opinion on a football channel. So there's lots and lots of that. And for me, from what I've done in my life, like I say in the background, I don't need all that. I don't need it. I'm beyond all that. Despite what many people think, I am in my mid-30s. I'm not in my early 20s. I don't need to mess around with idiots on social media offering me out for fights and calling me ridiculous names when I've got my own family, and I do this because I like talking about Manchester United and I like interacting with you lot. So, yeah, it's never. So one reason it's never been about self gratification. I'm not interested in that, and to be honest with you, I'm not changing. I'm keeping the Mark Goldbridge name, and I always will keep it, because for me, it's a dividing line between reality and social media. And if I start using my real name and see that stuff, then I probably won't enjoy it anymore. I don't want to see that sort of stuff. For me, Mark Goldbridge is what I do with the United stand. It's very much like, you know, I'm not saying, you know, I can go down, I don't want to go down this road because it sort of puts me in a category which I'm not. But, you know, Elton John, Cliff Richard. In fact, I don't want to go down that route. Charlie Sheen, his real name I think is something Estevez. Obviously his brother uses his real name. To have that separation for me is a nice separation, and obviously I had to use it at the start for the first bit, so I've just kept it, and I will keep it. And I like the fact that people, you know, relate to me as Mark on there and speak to me about that. I do like that, and I don't want that to change. But the reality that people suddenly think that they've uncovered something that was openly in the public domain really does make me laugh. You can search the United Stand on Google, and it's registered because, yet again, we're not a corporate entity. We are not to hide anything. The United Stand has been set up as a company, and it has the details on there. So it's on a public domain. So these people who think they're uncovering something is laughable. But then when you go deeper than that and you start looking into people's private lives and you start tweeting stuff out about that, I think that's low. I think it's really low. And the fact that a lot of it's come from Manchester United fans, it just shows the level of hate there is out there. But look, I'm not interested in any issues or anything like that with anybody. We haven't been like that for a long time. There's a lot of things I could say right now about the person who's fed all this out, which I'm not going to do it because I'm not interested in that. You do your thing, we'll do our thing. What does get on my nerves is when people start delving into my private life about it to try and uncover something that's not there, because you're not going to find that I suddenly started supporting Manchester United 2 years ago. You're not going to find it. You can go through my family, you can go through my friends, you will come through the same consistent thing that I've always had. So wind your neck in, or even better, you're more than welcome to come on to any of our shows and put whatever question you want, and you will get an honest answer, as I'm giving everybody now. Because the reality is, I just, you know, it's not about... It's about the United Stand. That's what it's about. It's always been about that. It's about what we've got here. It's about your community. And you know that I actually spoke 9 months ago about leaving this summer. Now, at the moment, that's probably not going to happen. But because of what's happening in my life, another child on the way, literally in the next couple of weeks, I was thinking I can't really carry on anymore. But things have happened that maybe that can happen. I've always been looking for new people to get involved. But it takes a lot. It's not just about being able to sit here and do what I'm doing now. It's about sitting here and taking all the crap that comes with it. Because you tell me a time when I've actually sent abusive tweets to anybody, taken a pop at anybody abusively. I just don't do it. I'll respond to people having a pop at me, but it's not abuse. But the abuse I get and the United Stand has got for the last 2 years, basically driven by lies that these people put out there, it's ridiculous. People see my face and they want to smash it in. I mean, what is that all about? What is that all about? Just don't watch the content. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Manchester United. If you don't like what we've got to say, do not watch it. But I'm slightly embarrassed, and I apologise for everybody if you've had to watch this, because I just want to talk about football. That's why the watch along will be straight after this video, because I'm not leaving this up for hours and hours. I'll stay up, but it's not being left up as a standalone video that everyone just can come and watch. If you want to watch it, you can watch it. It's in the public domain for you to watch and understand. But we're going straight into a watch along after this, and we get straight into Manchester United, because that's what this channel's about. It's not about me. But I don't want these lies and things to start going on and on and on. I want you to understand what it's all about. I want you to know what it's all about. And the reality, I apologise if people actually really thought Mark Goldbridge was a real name. It's totally obvious that it's a made-up name because it doesn't exist. But the reasons for me doing it, one, I had to do it at the start because my real name is quite distinctive and would be very easy to start searching around my personal life and private life, and I didn't want that, and I couldn't have that in the job I was in at the time. And then 18 months ago, I could have just come out and said, right, you know that, but I didn't do it because I like the dividing line. I like the dividing line between reality, my life, and what I do on the United Stand. I like that. It's a coping mechanism. I definitely wouldn't be here doing this if I was using my real name 18 months ago, because I left 18 months ago, as you know. It came down on top, and if I hadn't had that barrier of the Mark Goldbridge thing, which it means nothing. It does. I'm still the same person, but in my mind, it separates it. It's like when I'm doing this, I'm Mark Goldbridge. My opinions and everything are the same, but it's like a protection I put on, and it's not going to change. And it's what I associate with this. So stage name, alias, whatever you want to call it, it's not going. I am keeping it, but I am responding to all you lot because you lot all deserve it. And I'm just fed up of people direct messaging me, offering me out for fights and stuff like this, and putting little tweets like with my name on it and going hello, like they've got one up on me, like they've done a bit of Poirot and they've been investigating it for the last 6 months. When the reality is, it's one Google search and you've got it. I mean, it really is not hidden. If they'd done some, if they'd put a private detective on it and gone back and found me in Nottingham and all that lot, then I'd probably applaud them and think, well done for that, even though you're a total CUNT for disclosing somebody's private information. But the reality is, it's not hidden. There we go. And I'm sure that Distant Temper, his name is... thanks for that, Distant Temper, for putting it on there. You're blocked. I don't want it. That's not what the United Stand's all about. I do not want it. And it will be Mark Goldbridge on this channel. And if people want to start thinking they're clever, putting it up on there, then I'll just delete it. Because that's not what I'm going to be known as. It's going to be Mark Goldbridge. And that's the way it's going to be. Let's have a look at... I will take some of your questions. Thanks, Chad. There's nothing to back really, but thanks for that. To be honest, I just want to be honest with all you lot. I don't want it to become something that it isn't. There's nothing to hide. It's, to be honest, it's nobody's business other than mine. I'm not disappointed because it's there to. What I'm disappointed in is how deep people have gone into it and started on about it, but they'll get their accounts. They'll get their accounts shut down because you're not allowed to disclose private information about people like that, and you can't do it. But it is what it is. There's absolutely nothing to hide. And the reality is, as I said at the very start of the video, look, if you follow people on social media and YouTube channels, you'll know a certain somebody tried to set up Partner Fan and wanted to get fans from abroad coming over to Manchester United, and he wanted to charge them to go around a free stadium tour, and he wanted to charge them to have a sing-song with him in a pub, and he wanted to charge them nearly £1,000 to meet players that didn't even know anything about it. And when he was outed about that in the papers and everything, they disappeared for 3 weeks. They didn't tweet, they didn't do any videos for 3 weeks, and then they sort of slipped their way back in, and everyone forgot about it. Let the dust down, let the dust settle a bit, and I'll come back when there's a new news story. He's still that person, he's still that fraud, he's still that joke, but then thinks that he's got an angle on me. We haven't got an angle on me. There is no angle on me. And if you think you've got an angle, be a man about it. Instead of tweeting all your mates privately and getting them to tweet it out, you do it off your account, but you won't, will you? Because you're too concerned about how you look, because you've had too many knocks. You've had too many knocks and you've been outed too many times that you've got to keep your hands clean. But they're dirty. They are dirty. We know where it came from. But in a way, I'm actually really grateful because it's quite liberating. It's quite liberating that people know. And whatever. We're still the United Stand. We're still here. And you're going to have to work a hell of a lot harder than that to knock us down. Because that's what it's all about. They've seen what the United Stand's doing. It's doing fantastic things because of you lot. And a corporate entity really need to try and stop that happening. So they go down the dirt because they want the monopoly. They want people bowing down to them. And it's not going to happen. So, you know, I'd love to take your questions, but we're 5 minutes away from the start of the watch along. But so, apologies for everybody. I know this is not news. It's not relevant. And a lot of you won't give a shit about it. But for the minority of you who have been messaging me, then I wanted to obviously give you the true story. And for the minority of you out there who tried to ruin it for the majority, there you go. Tweet away, because we've done a video on it. So there we go. But thanks for everybody who's supported us, and thanks for everyone who's been nice in the comments. Yeah, the game's about to start. So I'll end this. Put any comments you want to do in the bottom. But the reality is, Mark Goldbridge is still here because he's sat here in front of you. That is the name I will use, because it's like it's how I fit, what I feel comfortable with. I don't feel comfortable using my real name and I don't want to use it. And I couldn't at the start because of the job I had. 18 months ago I could have changed, but 18 months ago I nearly left because things were coming down on top. I was fed up with all the abuse and that, and it wasn't fun anymore. And ever since then I've just carried on using it, and it's nice. And for anybody who does put stuff in the public eye, I understand why people use aliases, because to mentally, I'm doing videos at 7 a.m. every day. I'm doing an hour every night at 8:30. We're doing massive watch-alongs. This is very encompassing, but I do have another job. I have a life, and to have that separation for me works, because the amount of effort that goes into the United Stand, if you know anything about mental health and stress and things like that, it's coping mechanism. If everything's everything, you're going to blow. If you can compartmentalize things, then it makes things a lot easier. And that's the best way I can explain it. Although, to be honest, when I started it, I had to have one. Otherwise, I never could have started it. That's what I was told by my job. If you use your real name, you're not allowed to do it. So that's how it started. But thanks, everybody. Hopefully that has explained it. I feel quietly embarrassed, like I say, because I don't think it really is news. But people will try and destroy us. And this has only come out in the last few hours. Like I say, I'm not going to disappear for 2 hours because there's nothing, 2 weeks, because there's nothing to disappear about. I'm still going to be tweeting. We're still going to do the content, and I'll face up to anything because we've always been honest with you. And I want to be honest. That's why we've done Q&As. That's why we do Scott Goldbridge. So thanks, Shura, for the contribution. Let's all go now and watch a football match. The watch along and the team news is 2 minutes away. We'll end this. Get onto it. The link's already up. I'll be back 60 seconds. Let's get on it and talk about football. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.